Premium Hill Academy. Morality, ingenuity, and excellence at its peak.
Welcome back, guys. Let's look at the theorem 3 as regarding to second theorem questions, right? We're looking at theorem 3. In former class we did theorem 1 and theorem 2, but in this class we'll be treating theorem 3. How do we apply theorem 3 to solving circle geometry questions? Yeah, let's just see how it goes. In theorem 3, whenever you see that the four parts of the circle, of the rectangle, is touching the circumference, when you see that the four parts of the rectangle is touching the circumference, the angle here will sum up with this angle to give us 180. Right? It's called diagonal. A diagonal, that is this angle. Let's call this angle X, for instance, and let's call this angle Y, for instance. When the condition that will make this to add up to this to give us 180, or the condition of X plus Y is equals to 180, will only be valid if the four parts of the rectangle is touching the circumference. That's all. So when you are seeing question and then you're observing a rectangle or like a square something touching the four parts of the rectangle, know that this angle is adding this angle to give us 180. These two angles are added to give us 180, as well as this angle. Let's call this angle let's call this A, angle A 8 degrees, and angle B degrees. Also angle A will sum up angle B to give us 180 degrees. That's all about the theorem 3. So I'm going to give you 8 questions. Let's try 8 questions as regarding to the theorem 3 to see how we can solve questions regarding to second theorem question. Come with me, guys. Let's look at the number 1 question on the board now. The question says find the value of y squared minus 2xy if this is the triangle. I believe it's not hard. What do we do? Look at the first thing we should observe is that this part, the four parts of the quadrilateral is touching the circumference of the circle. So what did we say? We said if this is the case, then this plus this is equals to 180, right? And this plus this is equals to 180. So what do we do? It's going to be 120 degrees plus what? Plus y degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Right? This is the equation 1. Let's just call this equation 1. Right? Also 169 degrees plus what? Plus x degrees. This is 120 plus y as the first, and 169 plus x is equals to what? 180. Let's call this number 2. Right? So from our equation 1, what do we have? We have that 120 degrees plus y is equals to 180. What do? We collect like terms. Right? Is that easy now? So how do we collect like terms? It's going to be from here, from 120 degrees plus y equal to 180 degrees. It's going to be y, which is equal to this one will stand alone, and then the 120 will come this way, right? That will be minus 180 degree minus 120 degree, because 120 and y cannot add each other, right? We have to take this one and take it to where its like term is, and this one remaining here, which is plus y, and then carry 120 over here. That's how I have minus 120, because this was a visible plus before. So if it crosses, it becomes minus, right? So what do? Y becomes 180 minus 120 should be what? Should be 60 degrees. Right? So we have the value for y. What becomes the value for x? From equation 2, which is this, we have that 169 degrees plus what? Plus x 8 degree equal to 120, and of course you know the reason why, because they are what? A diagonal to each other, right? So what happens now with this s, because these two cannot add, 169 will go the other way, right? X degree becomes 180 degree minus 169 degrees, right? In doing that, x becomes what? 11. 180 minus 169 is simply 11 degrees, right? But then the question is asking us to find the value of y squared minus 2xy. So what do we do with that? It's going to be what? Therefore y squared minus 2xy becomes, what's the value for y? Is 60. That's 60 squared minus 2 times, what's x? X is 11. 11 times what? 60. Why is that? So if you check, 60 square will give us what? 60 times 3 will give us 303,600, right? Because 60 square is 60 times 60. So for that, we are going to have 3,600 minus 2 times 60 is 120. Or try with the calculator. 2 times 11 times 60. What will that give to you? I believe to give us 1,320. Yes. So if we subtract that, what are we going to have? We subtract 3,600 from 1,320. I believe we are going to have 2,200 and what? 280. Right? That's what we're going to have, 2,280. And you see how we're able to solve this simple equation from this circle theorem. Question says we should find the value of y squared minus 2x y, right? If we have this on the board. And I just taught you in the theorem 3 that if you see that the four parts are touching the circumference of the circle. And what does that mean? It means that whatever you have here, the diagonal lines, the diagonal angles, 120 plus y will give us 180. Also here plus here will give us 180. And if you solve that, you will see how we got the answer to this question. Let me show you another question on how to tackle questions as regarding to circle theorem 3 questions. Thank you guys. Alright guys, let's look at question 2 on the board as regarding to circle theorem 3 questions, right? In this question it says find the angle marked XWY. It's that simple. When you are saying so, when they are giving you a question, then they're asking you to find this and this, just target the middle angle. They're asking you to find the middle angle that X makes with Y. So look at, this is X, that's this line X, and this is Y. So the angle that they make together, if they coincide, you see that it is what? It is W. That's why they're asking you to find XWY, the middle angle that both of them make. That's P. So in other words, they're asking you to find the value of P. That's all. There's nothing serious there. Right, so how do we find the value of P? It's that simple. Look at, this is a triangle. Let's pick this triangle out. That's X, Y, Z. Let's try and pick, for simplicity's sake, let's pick it out. Look at the triangle inside the circle. The triangle here, and then there's an isosceles, and these lines are showing you that it's an isosceles triangle. So look at, we have an angle of 40 degrees here, right? And for an isosceles triangle, what did I tell you that an isosceles triangle is? That whatever is here is also equal to what is here, because the two lines are the same. Two sides and two angles are the same for an isosceles triangle. So for an isosceles triangle, what this means is that this angle is equal to this angle. So what is here must be equal to what is here. That's the trick, right? So this is, if there is 40, it means that here also is 40. That means we'll be looking for this angle. Let's just call this angle X. How do we do that? Remember that the sum of angles in the triangle is what? Is 180 degrees. So we sum them. That means we'll say 40 plus 40 plus X is equal to 180 degrees. And the reason for that is that the sum of angles in the triangle is equal to 180 degrees. So what do we do now? 40 plus 40 is what? Is 80 degrees plus X equal to 180 degrees. So what do we do? You know that these two, they can't add now, right? A number cannot add an alphabet. So this one will come here. And the sign here, the invisible plus sign here, will change to minus. We'll be left to just X here, right? So you know that X here is equals to what? 180 minus 80. And that will give us what? 100 degrees, right? But that's not all. Now if we have here, we know that here, which is this S part, the value of X is 100 degrees. That means here is 100 degrees. But if you look, we're just trying to do something, if you take off the whole idea of this line, you discover that this part, the four parts here, here, and here, they are touching the circumference of the circle. And you know what we said about that in theorem 3. And when they are touching each other, these will add up with these to give us 180 degrees, right? So let's do that now. How do we get P, right? So in getting P, it becomes 100 plus P, because they are what? They are diagonal, right? So it's going to be what? Therefore, it's going to be 100 plus P, which is equals to what? 180 degrees, right? So we know what happens now. P becomes what? 180. That is, if we move 100 the other way, minus what? 100. So that our P becomes what? Becomes 80 degrees. See how easy it is. It's very easy. If you just try and apply it, you see how easy it is. As a matter of fact, we can even find this angle. You can get the value of y, the value of x, y, w. You can also find the angle of x, y, w. It's easy. You know how we do it now. X, y, w. That means the middle angle, y here. How do we do that? Since we know that P now is 80 degrees, we can now bring the triangle out. We can forge this triangle out, saying that from here is 30 degrees. Remember, here is 30 degrees. And here is what? Here is P, which we just got as our 80 degrees. You can easily find here, which we don't know. Let's just call this y. Alright, so sum of angles in the triangle. That's all about circle theorem. Sum of angles in the triangle becomes 30 plus 80 that we just found, plus what y we are looking for equals to 180. The reason for that is the sum of angles in the triangle. Right? The sum, this is just plus. I'm trying to give you the shortcut for it. Sum of angles in the triangle. Right? So 30 plus 80 is what? 100 and what? 110 plus y is 180 degrees. So that y becomes what? 180 degrees minus 110. Right? So that y becomes what? 70 degrees. That's simple. It's nothing there. Right? If you just look at the question, and that's why I'm giving you easier, cheaper questions. We are trying with cheaper questions so that as we proceed further, we'll see how we can apply tougher questions. You see how it's very easy now. Right? So what do we do? First of all, they ask us to find the value of P, but this place was not given. 100 degree was not given in the first instance. But we know that this is an isosceles triangle, so that what is here is equal to what is here. That's why I was giving you this for an isosceles triangle. If we add all the angles together, we'll get here as what? 100 degrees. Now we can now apply the theorem 3 that whatever is here, because the four sides are touching the circumference of the circle, whatever is here must add up whatever is here to give us what? 100 and 180. The sum themselves will get 180. So having known that here is 100 degrees, this plus this giving us 180. See, there becomes 80 degrees. And we're giving ourselves a bonus question that we can even find this angle here. I was bringing out the triangle. Since we know what 80 is, we can get it at 70. Just follow me. Let's look at the next question together. Thank you, guys. Alright guys, let's look at the question number 3 on the board now. The question says find the angle BCD in the diagram given. I'm looking for the angle BCD, and I said when we're given this kind of things, look at the middle angle BCD. So we're looking for the angle C here. So let's call this angle, let's just call it X. Let's call it X degree. I'm looking for the angle BCD. So how do we do that? And the only way we can do that is because we are seeing that this part is touching this, and this, right? So what do we do? It's simple. We are going to use this to add whatever we have here. It's equals to 180. So this plus this is equal, but we don't know what is here. If you look at this, there's a triangle here. You can pick out this triangle first by picking out the first triangle. And this angle is what? Angle D, angle B, and angle what? Angle A. Angle D was giving us what? 60 degrees. Angle B was giving us what? 80 degrees. So we have to look for this angle. Let's just call this angle Y. Right? So how do we find the angle Y? We have to add the 3 angles, right? By adding the 3 of them. So we can say from here, Y degrees plus what? Plus 60 plus 80 is equals to 180 degrees. In doing that, we know that Y degrees becomes 60 plus 80 will give us what? 140. 140 degrees equals to 180 degrees. Now what happens now? We collect like terms, right? So that Y becomes what? 180, because this is plus 140, becomes minus 140 here, right? Therefore our Y becomes what? 40 degrees. That's the value for Y, right? See now, this place becomes 40 degrees. That's how we got 40 here. Are you getting? There was no 40 there before, but now this is 40 degrees, right? So what do we do from here now? Is that easy? Having known here, we know that X plus 40, because the four sides are equal. That's what I told you now. We got this place from this triangle so that we can add these two. Now having known here, we know that 40, therefore we can say 40 degrees plus X degrees is equal to what? 180 degrees. Right? So from here what happens? These two can't add. Just push it out. X becomes what? 180 degrees minus 40 degrees, so that our X becomes what? 140. You see how easy it is? 140 degrees. It's very easy. If you just look at how to apply them, you see that second theorem is actually an easy course if you know how the theorem, how the law works. And that's what I'm teaching you. I'm using 8 videos or 8 to 10 videos to teach you how this thing works, right? So I'm going to be showing you in the fourth question how to solve this using the same theorem, showing you a different pattern on how to solve this, guys. Follow me for more. Thank you, guys. Alright guys, let's look at the question number 4 as regarding to second theorem 3 questions, right? It says in the diagram, find the value. Okay, now it says in the diagram above, angle UOT is 70 degrees. Remember, this O is the middle angle, that's where the 70 is, right? And angle ROST, the S there, ROS, that's this S here, that makes with this. Angle ROST is 110 degrees. Find the value of angle ROUO. So we are looking for the value of Y, which is the value of what? Of Y. It's not hard. Now, seeing that this angle, this point, and this point, they are all touching the circumference of the circle. What do? We said their diagonal will add up to give us what? 108 degrees, right? So looking at this now, we have 110 degrees here. We are going to add this angle to the whole of this angle, everything here, to get 180. But we cannot add up everything here if we don't know what this angle is. And if you look at this, there's a triangle drawn here out of the rectangle or the square box there. You take the triangle there, discover that here is 70 degrees, yes, from here, and it's an isosceles triangle. An isosceles triangle is a triangle that has 2 sides and 2 angles equal. An isosceles triangle is an angle that has 2 sides and 2 angles equal. So look at now, it means that if this is the 70 degree from here, from the question, this angle, let's call this angle X, and this angle X, they are both equal, right? So what do? In order to get the angle of X, we add up all the sides to get 180, right? So it becomes 70 degrees plus X degrees equal to 180. And the reason for that is the sum of what? Sum of angles in a triangle give us 180 degrees. That's the reason. That's the reason why we're getting 180 degrees. So from this it becomes 70 plus X, that's 2X, equal to 180 degrees, right? So we have that these two cannot add. We have to collect like terms by saying 2X, this 2X remaining here will be equals to 180 minus what? Minus 70, right? Because 70 cannot add up with 2X. This one has an alphabet attached. So we have to take the 70 down to this part where they can both subtract, right? And this is an invisible plus here. So if it crosses, it becomes a minus. That's what we are seeing, the minus there. So 2X will be equals to 180 minus 70 will give us 110. So what do? We divide both sides by 2 so that this 2 can take off 2 here. We'll be left with X. 110 divided by 2 will be equals to what? 55. That means the value of X here is 55. Also the value of X here will be what? 55. And take it to the question, we now know that the value of X here is what? 55. So the whole of this angle will be Y plus 55. Are you seeing? The whole of this angle here will be Y, because this angle already is Y angle Y. The whole of this angle here is already angle Y. But we are looking for the whole of the angle, because the whole of this angle plus the whole of this angle will give us 180, right? So we are coming here and saying, therefore, to get this value, it's going to be 110 plus this 110 plus Y plus 55 that made up the whole of that angle, right, equal to 180. That's the reason. That's diagonal angles, right? We said that when we're explaining the question. So from there we have that 110 plus Y plus 55 will be equal to 180. So from there what happens? 110 plus 55 should be what? 165 plus Y degrees equal to what? 180. So we collect like 10 because 165 cannot add up with Y, right? This is a number, this is an alphabet, and the operator sign plus here does not support that we add them up. So Y will remain plus Y will remain. We have 180. This one will cross to give us minus 165, right? So if we do that, Y will be equals to 180 minus 165 will become what? 15 degrees. That's the value of Y. So the question says to find angle RUO, and angle RUO is the angle value y there, right? So we can still find the whole of this angle, what the whole of this angle means. Since we know that the whole of this angle that looks like this angle that is here, we're looking for y. We've gotten our y as 15, and we got here from the isosceles triangle as what? As 55, right? So if we know that here is 15, we can simply say the whole of angle, the whole of this angle will become 55 plus 15. That's to get the whole of the angle there. And that will give us what? That will give us 70 degrees. See how easy it is now? It's very simple. Trust me, if you take your time to solve this question, take your time to go through the question again and again, see how easy it is to solve the question. I'll show you another question in the next slide as you follow me. Thank you, guys.
Premium Hill Academy. Morality, ingenuity, and excellence at its peak.